I'm 79 years old. My daughter sent me a video last week in which someone talked about the 5 regrets dying people have. I watched it on my iPad. It took me 20 minutes to figure out how to turn the volume up, and halfway through, I had to pause it because I realized I'd done all 5. Not because I was dying in a hospital bed confessing to some stranger, but because I'd just lived wrong for decades while thinking I was doing everything right. That's what gets me. I wasn't reckless. I didn't gamble the mortgage away, or cheat on my wife, or abandon my kids. I showed up. I paid bills. I was responsible. And I still wasted it. I keep thinking about this thing my uncle said at a barbecue in 1968. I was 22. He was drunk, leaning against his Buick, and he looked at me and said, "Bobby, don't spend your whole life waiting for permission to live." I remember laughing. I thought he was being dramatic. He sold insurance, lived in the same house for 30 years. What did he know about living? Turns out, everything. The first regret they talk about in that video is not living the life you wanted, living someone else's idea of what you should be. I wanted to open a record store. That sounds stupid now, I know. But in 1967, that's what I wanted. I'd spent 2 years working at Sam's Music on 4th Street, and I knew every album in that place. I knew what people would buy before they did. I'd order imports from England, weird folk stuff from California, and they'd sell out in a week. Sam offered to make me a partner, said I had a knack for it, said we could expand. My father sat me down at the kitchen table, told me music was a hobby, not a career, that I needed something stable, that he'd spoken to his buddy at the insurance company, and they had an opening. I took the job. I wore a tie. I drove to the office. I stayed 43 years. I hated it after the first month, but I kept thinking it would get better, that I'd get promoted, and then it would make sense, that I'd adjust. I never adjusted. I just went numb. Sam sold the store in 1971, opened 3 more, made a fortune, retired at 55 and moved to Florida. I retired at 65 with a pension and a drawer full of pills for my blood pressure. I haven't listened to music in years. Can't stand it. Reminds me of what I gave up because I was afraid my father would be disappointed. He died in 1989. I don't think he ever knew I hated my job. I never told him. Second one, working too much. I didn't even work that much by today's standards. I left at 5. I didn't bring work home, but I brought the exhaustion home, the bitterness, the feeling that I'd just wasted another 8 hours of my life doing something that didn't matter. My wife Sharon used to ask me about my day. For the first few years I'd tell her. Then I realized I had nothing to say. I processed claims. I made phone calls. I ate a sandwich at my desk. So I stopped talking about it. And then I stopped talking much at all. She'd cook dinner. I'd eat it in front of the TV. She'd ask if I wanted to go for a walk, and I'd say I was too tired. I wasn't tired. I was empty. She started going for walks alone. Then she started going to her sister's house more. Then she started sleeping in the guest room because I snored. By the time we were 50, we were roommates. Polite, distant. She died in 2019. Stroke. Quick. I found a list she'd made in her nightstand, places she wanted to visit, things she wanted to try. She'd written it in 1975. We never went anywhere. I worked a job I hated, came home dead inside, and killed the one person who still wanted to be with me. Not with violence, with absence. Third, not saying what I really felt. This one makes me angry because I thought I was being nice. Sharon wanted to move to Colorado in the 80s. Her brother lived out there. Said he could get me a job at his company. Something different. A fresh start. I didn't want to go. I liked our house. I didn't want to start over. And I didn't trust her brother. He was loud and overconfident, and I found him exhausting. But I didn't say any of that. I just kept saying, maybe next year, or let's wait until we save more, or I need to check with work. She stopped bringing it up after a while. I thought I'd won. I thought I'd been diplomatic. But I hadn't been honest, and she knew it. That's what the silence between us was. Not peace, resentment. She knew I'd lied. I knew she knew, and neither of us said anything. We had a fight once in 1993. Only real fight we ever had. I don't even remember what started it. But she screamed at me that I never told her what I actually wanted. That I just made her guess, and then made her feel bad for guessing wrong. She was right. I apologized. We didn't talk about it again. I wish we'd fought more. I wish I'd been honest when it still mattered. Fourth, losing touch with people. I had a best friend named Kenny. We grew up on the same street, went to high school together. He was best man at my wedding. I was at his. We used to meet up every Sunday, watch football, drink beer, talk about nothing. Then he moved to Delaware for work. 1981, 2 hours away. We said we'd still get together. We did for a while. Once a month, then every few months, then Christmas. Then he didn't come to Christmas one year. His wife called and said they were busy. I said no problem. I meant to call him after New Year's, but I forgot. Then it felt weird to call out of the blue. Then it had been a year, then 5. I saw his obituary in 2003. Heart attack. He was 58. I didn't go to the funeral. I didn't know if I'd be welcome. I didn't know his kids anymore. I didn't know him anymore. I threw the obituary away and pretended I hadn't seen it. But I think about him all the time. I think about how easy it would have been to call, to drive down and see him, to not let 2 hours feel like the other side of the world. I let him disappear because I was lazy, and now he's actually gone. Fifth, Not letting myself be happy. This is the one I don't fully understand even now. I wasn't depressed. I didn't hate my life in some dramatic way. I just never felt like I'd earned the right to enjoy anything. Sharon would want to go out to dinner, and I'd say it was too expensive, even though we had the money. She'd suggest a weekend trip, and I'd say I had too much to do, even though I didn't. My son invited me to his baseball games in high school. I went to maybe 3. I told myself I was busy, but really, I just felt uncomfortable, like I didn't belong there, like the other dads were better at it than me. I was waiting for something, some moment when I'd finally feel like I'd done enough, worked enough, been good enough to deserve to enjoy my life. That moment never came, and now I'm 79. My wife is dead. My son lives in Oregon and calls me on holidays. Kenny's been gone for 20 years, and I'm sitting in a house I paid off decades ago, watching videos on an iPad, realizing I spent my whole life waiting for permission that was never coming. I don't know if you're in your 20s. I don't know if you'll listen to this. Probably not. I wouldn't have. But if something in this sounds familiar, if you're doing work you hate because it's safe, or you're not saying what you really want because you don't want to cause problems, or you keep putting off the things that might actually make you happy, just know that the cost isn't dramatic. You won't wake up one day and realize you've destroyed everything. It's quieter than that. You'll just look up one day and realize you're old, and you can't remember the last time you felt like yourself. That's it. That's what I wanted to say.